Hi friends, my name is Nate Jones. Those of you who might not know me personally might know me around campus as the tour guide with the fanny pack. In the 3 years that I have worked for admissions, I have given over 300 tours, engaging with families from around the world and interacting with nearly every office, resource, and facility on campus. This means that I've talked about Elon for roughly 600 hours, or almost an entire month. The thing I love most about being a tour guide is that no two tours are ever quite the same. Of course, much of the information tends to remain constant, but the students and their families are always bringing new energies, new dynamics, new perspectives, and new questions. Ironically, one of the most difficult and most popular questions that a tour guide can be asked is why Elon? The difficulty in this question lies in the fact that Elon, much like ourselves, is not just one thing, and therefore neither were our reasons for choosing to be here. In my response to this question, I typically quote my mother, who told me when I was younger that I was not supposed to find a place in the world, but I was supposed to create my own. From the moment I set foot on Elon's campus, I knew that this place would allow me to do both of those things, but what I did not know is that Elon would eventually help me realize that there is little difference between the two. Just like the students on this campus, no two tours are ever quite the same, but again, some of the information remains constant. The information that remains the most unchanged is Elon's history. On tour, while I finish talking about the luminaries, as I am passing from between Alamance and Carlton into Under the Oaks, I start with its founding in 1889 and begin to delineate the origins of Elon. I then start talking about how in 1923, Elon College suffered a devastating electrical fire that burned down almost the entirety of its original campus. And how when the smoke cleared, Elon was faced with a decision, whether to let itself burn out or whether to rise from its ashes. After I tell families that this fire is the motivation behind our current mascot, I direct their attention towards the maroon flags that are hoisted all across campus. And with a newfound perspective, they can now see that the leaf at the center of the crest is actually half of a flame and half of an oak leaf, in order to symbolize our history and our future, our fire and our rebirth. I tell them that most students are not consciously aware of this leaf, and I tell them that that means as students we walk by things every day without realizing that they have any meaning, only to eventually find out that those very things possess some of the most impactful and powerful meaning on this campus. Regardless of whether or not we're aware of the leaf, as students, we've all heard the story of this fire before. It's the story of how a fighting Christian became a phoenix, of how a college became a university. It's the story of how Elon rose. I suspect the reason this resonates with us all, it is not too different from each of our own stories. As all of us have burnt out at one point or another, some of our fires may have even been sparked by Elon, and many of them may still be burning right now. Much like the leaf, we students represent both the history and the future of Elon. And much like the leaf, we students walk by people every day without realizing their meaning, without realizing that they are doing the same exact thing we are doing here, searching for meaning. And as students, we walk in our own skin every day without realizing that we may already be the meaning that we are searching for. Similar to the irony in the question of why Elon, I believe one of the most difficult questions that a candidate can be asked is why me? What do I bring to the table? Perhaps it's the recognition of the fact that this table was not built for everybody. And we have found ourselves at a juncture in history where we can create a new table together. We can finally figure out, or at least begin to come to an understanding of what it means when we use words like inclusion and diversity. Perhaps my answer to why me is because that I believe it can be you too. In the almost 3 years that I have been a student here at Elon, my love for this school has only grown in its strength. And what I love most about being a student here is that no two definitions of Elon are ever quite the same. With every friend I make, I am gifted a new energy and a new perspective of what it means to be a phoenix. I believe that Elon is still rising from the ashes of its former self, just like me, just like you. Let's rise together. My name is Nate Jones, and that is why I'm running for student body president.